On this week's episode of BJ in the Morning, we're going to talk about a little movie called Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's go. I didn't say it.
Welcome.
It cut me off.
I don't know. I think you forgot. And now you're blaming it on the song coming in too soon.
It came in way too soon, not like we've done 85 episodes of this fucking show. Continue where you were.
Welcome to BJ in the Morning. I'm Juan.
And I'm Brendan.
And we're coming to you live from the podcast studio.
Not technically live.
We're coming to you live from
Pre-recorded.
the podcast studio. Talking about... No, that's not what I wanted to say. We're coming to you live from the podcast studio after recently watching Deadpool and Wolverine.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
I keep wanting to say the
Deadpool. No, I knew it. I heard it.
The Deadpool and Wolverine.
The Deadpool and the Wolverine.
The only one.
The only. There will be only one.
As of recording of this episode, we've seen the movie twice.
We watched it back to back opening night. So
Pretty
it is
much.
super late at night right now. We haven't slept. It's like 2 a.m.
Right.
I'm lying.
Right. But pretty much back to back.
Pretty much back to back. We watched it, took a day to compress and decompress, and then compress again, and then watched it again. And now here we are, mere moments after watching it the second time.
Still decompressing.
Still decompressing.
And decomposing.
Sure. Before we talk about anything going on in the movie, we're just going to do the obvious spoiler alert here.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some spoilers in this movie.
If you haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine...
You pause...
I'm sorry. The Deadpool and the Wolverine. Pause the app.
Yeah, go watch it.
Go watch it right now. Don't just stop everything you're doing. Anything you have to do, if you're driving.
Oh, you're going to work?
Yeah.
Not anymore?
You turn that bitch and go to the movie
Unless
theater.
the theater's in front of you, then don't.
Then don't you
That's
turn
just a waste
and
of
just
gas.
keep going straight. But yeah, spoilers.
Spoilers are
ahead.
coming hard.
Although, when this episode comes out, why haven't you seen it yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to have the biggest opening of a Marvel movie in the last 5 years.
And also, today's my birthday.
Shit. Happy birthday.
As of releasing of the episode.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, man.
What are you doing for your birthday?
Nothing.
Yeah.
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 I
There's
know.
other important birthdays that surround
You right.
my birthdays.
You right.
You know?
Yeah, I didn't get you anything.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Someday I will.
No, it's okay.
But someday.
But I mean, last year we did this, so next time we record, we'll probably like say happy birthday again.
Yeah.
So it's like I have like 4 birthdays,
right?
Because of
the podcast
releasing plus recording after.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
So to everyone else, your birthday's going on for a month.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they'll have no construct of when we record our episodes.
Yeah, so Deadpool and Wolverine. The Deadpool and the Wolverine.
The Deadpool and the Wolverine.
They released it at a perfect time, right?
Because the most perfect time.
They released on the day of San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, which is already huge. But now Marvel had 2 panels at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
Yeah.
One on Thursday for the Deadpool and the Wolverine.
Right.
And then one on Saturday, which was the entire Marvel thing.
Right.
So not only are we talking about Deadpool, we got to talk a little bit about Comic-Con. The big thing that we know about right now is that, I don't know if you saw, there was posters for the Fantastic Four all around the convention center. I'm going to
be honest here. I haven't seen anything from San Diego Comic-Con.
That's the only thing I've seen regarding to the Marvel stuff that's not Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right.
Because I watched a ton of clips of that panel. That would have been the place to be.
Right.
You know?
Of course.
And you had to like win a lottery to get into there.
That's crazy.
Like, it's wild.
So, so a friend told you about something.
Yeah, my friend
and
messaged
then
me.
I had a friend who told me about something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same thing that we were talking about.
I just looked up what he told me to look up. So I don't...
Should I open this text?
I
wasn't opening it.
You didn't open it?
We want a live reaction.
So what my friend told me to look at was who they cast as Doctor Doom.
Uh-huh.
Did you just see?
I didn't open the picture.
Oh. What?
Come on.
What? Oh. I see.
Did you see?
I see.
Did you see?
I see who they announced as Doctor Doom.
Come on.
All right. So for anyone out there who doesn't know the news by now, today at San Diego Comic-Con during the Marvel Studios panel, it was announced that Robert Downey Jr. would be returning to the MCU not as Iron Man, but as Doctor Doom in Avengers 5, which is now known as Avengers Doomsday. Huh.
Okay. I don't...
How?
I don't know, dude.
Okay, so my speculation would just be that it's
a variant.
Multiverse, which when we talk about the Deadpool movie, we'll get into like towards the end when he says a specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't agree more with what Deadpool says about the multiverse.
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone was asking for him to return, but then it just like...
I feel like there was a lot of rumors or a lot of speculation that he was going to return as Doctor Doom. There was people saying like, oh, that'd be cool. Right now, I'm a little underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because of multiple things. What we know about the Fantastic Four movie is that it's set in a different timeline already.
Right.
And it's set in the 60s.
Yeah.
Tony Stark was born when?
I have no idea.
So and now you have two actors playing two different roles in that. I don't know, man.
I mean,
I don't know, man.
Could be a variant, but then let's say, okay, so they're saying Doctor Doom is going to be for Avengers 5. Robert Downey Jr. Could be somebody else playing him in the Fantastic Four. You never know.
True.
Probably not.
Yeah, but if it's him, so him in the Avengers Doomsday, it's probably a variant of Tony Stark who became Doctor Doom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, went one way in the OG Avengers, and this is a variant who went a different way. Similar to how we saw like evil Doctor Strange, you know?
Yeah. I don't
know. I'm a little underwhelmed.
I don't like it.
We don't like it now. Maybe they'll pull it off.
Hopefully it'll be great. I mean, I think he was great as Tony Stark.
Yeah.
He was a very iconic Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
But Doctor Doom, I just don't see it.
Why?
I don't see it.
Why? Why don't we move forward? And
talk about...
I was going to say, let some of these people go. You know what I mean? Like, let's start the new age already. And B, let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine.
We kind of already accepted the fact that Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans were not returning to the MCU.
We should be able to just get over it as fans.
Let us get over it. We were starting to. And now you're like, oh, hey, here's Chris Evans, by the way.
We'll get into that.
Spoiler alert. And then they said, literally 2 days later, here's fucking
RDJ?
Robert Downey Jr. in one of the biggest Avengers film of all time.
Yeah.
in history.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a little underwhelmed, like I said.
Yeah.
A little baffled by the news. But shout out to Cole for shooting me that message, so we looked at it.
Shout out.
I'm sure there's a lot more things that were announced at the panel
that we have yet to see because we were too busy watching the Deadpool and Wolverine the second time. Yeah.
And then we have D23 coming up real soon, so there'll be even more Marvel news, I'm sure.
Great.
So be sure to like and subscribe and follow us here so you can stay in the loop with all of us.
Stay in the loop. Stay in touch.
Stay in the Mobius strip inverted. You get it?
And travel back in time and subscribe to us
6 months ago.
Before the podcast even started. So,
some people did do that technically, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
let's talk about the Wolverine and the Deadpool.
Let's do that. The
Deadpool and the Wolverine.
So how are we going to do this? We're just going to break it down.
Yeah, I think we can break it down a little bit. We don't have to go beat for beat. We're trying to not do a 3-hour-long episode here or like an hour and a half like the new Rockstars did.
Right.
We're not doing that kind of breakdown.
But, yeah, we're not going to get deep into the Easter eggs or anything like that. But we do want to break down the movie.
And its most iconic parts, technically, right? I
think this movie is was so revolutionary to the Marvel universe.
I think it was, yes. Yeah. No, I have to just agree. I'm not, there's no but, technically.
Okay.
I think what you're saying, it is revolutionary to the MCU as a whole for many reasons, other than it just existing. Here's the but. But I also think it was exactly what we needed at this point in time in the MCU. And the movie comments on that.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I think, Marvel back to back has been great movie or show, shitty movie or show. And not necessarily shitty.
Yeah, just not as good. Yeah.
And
I mean, there have definitely been some big flops, in my opinion.
Like what?
Like the Eternals.
Okay.
It was a flop. It had some cool moments.
Yeah.
It was too long.
Yeah.
Too much going on.
So this year alone, we haven't had anything this year, did we?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
There's
either.
so much fatigue right
Forget
now.
that comment. So let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Let's. That's what the episode's
and
about.
How it's become iconic already. Within the last couple days.
Yeah, where should we start? At the very beginning?
Yeah.
Sweet. So, the movie opens up. Not at all where I expected it to, but also watching it the second time, I was like, this is the only place it could have started.
Yeah.
And that's with Deadpool singing over the Marvel banner to the song. And I think it's so good because that banner means so much to a lot of people. When you see that banner in front of the movie you're watching, the Marvel Studios banner, it's part of the MCU, which here it is.
Yeah.
For the first time on a Deadpool movie.
I've always wondered how Deadpool... He's already self-aware, right?
Yeah,
and he's self-aware that he's in a comic book, or in this case, a movie. And he breaks the fourth wall, which is a staple in the Deadpool character. But how does he know? Like, I've always wondered, how does he know about Disney and Frozen and like all these like minor details that we love and we love to hear? And I get it, it's for the joke mostly, but it's like I want to go deeper.
Yeah.
Like, when he was still in Fox in the first Deadpool, like how did he know about Frozen? You know, like, tell me that. Is he having like some sort of vision? Is he freaking?
I don't think it's that deep because I know that him breaking the fourth wall is a superpower. Yeah. Like, it is one of his powers. And he's not the only one out there that can do it. Right. But it's kind of like how like Spider-Man's Spidey sense is, right? It's just part of who he is. Mm-hmm. It's one of his abilities. So, I don't know. I think you just can say, hey, it's Deadpool. He does that.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
so it opens up with Deadpool singing the Marvel theme, and then he's like, oh, doesn't that music get you pumped up?
Yes.
And what's funny is, like, the first line in the movie is talking about how Disney bought out Fox, and there was this whole thing. He, like, literally throws all the drama that went on between Disney and Fox right at the beginning of the movie.
Just to get it out of the way.
Just throwing out the dirty laundry.
Yeah, basically, right? But the whole movie, like, does kind of feel like a commentary on that entire situation for the most part. But we also, you know, we have wanted the Deadpool and Wolverine crossover team up since the Deadpool movie came out. That's even in Deadpool, the first one, he talks about teaming up with Hugh.
Yeah.
You know? So we've been wanting it, at least most of us, since then. Others of us since before then.
Yeah.
But in Deadpool's universe, Logan happened. The movie Logan. What happens at the end of Logan? He dies. So Wolverine's dead in this universe, and Deadpool goes to dig him up.
Dig up his grave.
And that's what he does.
And he seems convinced that he's not dead.
Yeah, the healing factor.
You don't die. Your healing factor does not let you die. I don't think he's under the impression that the adamantium poisoning, like I don't think he knows any of that, right?
Yeah.
So that's why he died. He was poisoned by the adamantium
for so long.
And he couldn't heal. And he bled out, basically.
Yep.
So he didn't die necessarily from getting hurt.
Right.
He just died from not being able to heal. So he dig up his corpse.
I do feel like
finds the adamantium skeleton.
Yeah, I feel like that is a whole joke on people who don't really understand Wolverine's character. Like it's a nod to, like, well, he can heal. Why is he dead?
Yeah. Like,
I think that's it's really clever when you think about it. It's like, yeah, but if you don't know, now you know.
Now you know.
But yeah, he digs up. I just love that you just hear the dirt and then you hear the ding.
Yeah.
And he freaks out, realizes that Logan did in fact die, and pulls out his adamantium skeleton.
Yeah.
Some of the funniest bits were just this opening sequence, because who shows up right then? The TVA. For those of you who don't know, the TVA has a huge presence in Loki. That's where we are introduced to the TVA in the MCU. If you haven't watched Loki, you're missing out. I think both seasons are really good.
Yeah.
Probably one of the better shows besides WandaVision.
Right.
You know.
One thing I didn't catch the first time around was that when I don't remember what the TVA said, but Deadpool's like, I'm not going to give you my weapons, but I promise I won't use them.
Yeah, so it's a nod to the first movie, What Happens Next, when he's just got, how many bullets did he have in the first one? 12, and he counts them out.
Yeah.
And in this one, he says there's X amount of bones in the human body, and he uses all of...
Yeah.
He uses Wolverine's skeleton to defeat the TVA agents.
He's just breaking them apart.
Piece by piece.
Yeah.
And it's probably the best opening sequence to a Deadpool movie.
With NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye.
Intercut with clips of Deadpool doing the dance.
Yeah.
It's seriously, like, it's so much fun of an opening, and it hit the first time really hard. The second time it was like I was trying to find little details throughout the whole thing. There wasn't any extra details except realizing how he's breaking this freaking skeleton apart piece by piece,
using his leg as nunchucks.
Yeah, no, it's so good. So yeah, he's fighting off the TVA with all these pieces of Wolverine. He somehow had enough time to fashion up Wolverine's claws to be on his arms.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I was like, how would that work, right?
I don't know.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
But then I noticed that he had like the tendons of Wolverine's body, like
little pieces of skin,
and I was like,
tied
maybe that would work if like the tendons or the muscle is what pushes the forks, pushes the claws out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe he figured it out, but that'd be crazy to see him like fighting and then he's just like trying to
goes
put him
back
on.
to fight some other dudes, comes back. But then we get a hard flashback again, like in the first two, where it goes back a little bit. Takes you out of the action after giving you the title card that says Deadpool and Wolverine when he's got the fucking claws out.
Yeah.
And then it's a flashback to him using the time watch from Cable to go around. And where does he go next?
He goes to 2018, but
it's March 14th.
March 14th in 2018. On Earth 616. And
the sacred timeline.
This is what confused me. Because Cable's watch is capable of time travel. Sure, that makes sense, going back in time. But he traveled through the multiverse?
Yeah.
That kind of doesn't line up.
I don't know. It's a movie. I don't know. Maybe it does do that. But also, like, he was jumping through timelines in Deadpool too, like going to the other variants and everything. So
yeah, I mean, sure.
It's one of those movie things, like, comic book movie.
It happened.
It happens. So yeah, he's sitting down in the Avengers campus, right? It's not the tower, because this would have been right after Homecoming, when Happy is moving everything over to the campus.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So he's sitting down in an office with Happy Hogan, which I thought he looked really weird in the like the first time we watched it. Like I was like, why does Happy look so weird? And it's because they de-aged him a little bit.
Yeah.
And it does look a little weird. Like, not gonna lie.
Which doesn't make sense because he was that. He did look. I don't think he looks any older.
I don't know. Maybe
than he did in Homecoming.
Maybe he does now.
Maybe.
You know, like we haven't seen him in a while since No Way Home. So I don't know.
Sure.
But Deadpool's interviewing to be an Avenger, and they tell him no.
Right.
Straight up, just tells him you're not.
We don't need you.
You need it, but we don't need you.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think sets off a lot of this movie because he gets rejected because he needs to be an Avenger, but the world doesn't need him to be an Avenger. And there's another line.
This downward spiral.
Right. So he stops being Deadpool, works at a car dealership, trying to sell. What's he selling? Not the Honda Odyssey, the other one.
The
Kia.
I don't know.
It's another van.
Yeah. The Kia.
And then he's got his friend Peter working there too. And Peter's like pushing him to be Deadpool again. Then we find out randomly that him and Vanessa aren't together anymore, which I was like, didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Like,
it sounded a little forced to me, but.
Yeah. She did mention, like, at Deadpool's birthday party that, well, my new boyfriend hasn't got me shot yet or something like that. And it's like.
And you can see little things when they, like, take those little jabs. And I get it. Like, Deadpool took the rejection pretty hard, and it's what it sounded like. He went into a depression. Yeah. And didn't come out. And that can drive a wedge between people for sure. But yeah, Deadpool's birthday. Right? It's Wade's birthday. They're all celebrating. 9 people.
Yeah.
I think there was a comment about like, wow, in 6 years, this is the only people you could get. I don't know if you caught that line. No. But as soon as he blows out the candles for his wish, what happens? The TVA freaking knocks at the door. They're pushing around. There's a pegging joke, which
there's a whole orgy joke.
Yeah, there's a whole orgy joke. There's a nod to the camera, or a wink to the camera about how it's not new for him, but it's new for Disney.
Yeah.
And then we're caught back up to the fighting in the snow stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we see like the whole sequence of him in the TVA figuring out what his purpose is for, well, not his purpose necessarily. We don't know. We didn't get far enough to find out why Paradox wanted Deadpool.
Yeah, so he gets taken to the TVA, and we're introduced to Mr. Paradox, which is like a one-off character from was it She-Hulk comic, I think. So not huge in the Marvel lore, but it's cool that they fit something like that in.
Yeah.
So he's got this whole spiel about how since Logan died, which again timelines don't line up. Logan died in the future. When does Deadpool take place? It's all a little foggy.
I mean, well, they did say Deadpool's timeline is still alive, right? It's still alive, but it's dying. And they show it in the picture that it's going in reverse.
Right. So
maybe that's the point of...
But how does Deadpool know that he died and dug up his body?
Deadpool didn't know that he died.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Because he's like, that guy with the forks for hands?
Yeah.
He's the reason this is dying?
I mean, he knows of... It sounds like he knows of him.
Yeah.
I don't see that... I don't think that he...
I just don't know where Deadpool and Wolverine fits in the timeline of the sacred timeline and the branches.
In the same timeline.
Yeah, so is Deadpool in the future from us right here, right now? I don't know.
Either.
It's weird. It's a little foggy, but it's okay.
Either way, at this point, Mr. Paradox says, I'm trying to kill your timeline.
Yeah, just random. He switched gears so quick. I was like, oh, yeah, no, he's part of the TVA. We're chilling. And then all of a sudden, he's like a Scooby-Doo villain, you know? Where, like,
which makes sense that the TVA agents, they don't have their ID number. Mm-hmm. They don't have, like all the original outfits, Mm-hmm. And I heard this from new rock stars that they were like, oh, maybe they're like some sort of Black Ops version, undercover.
Yeah.
And
we find that out.
They're covering their face now. And
in this scene, right? He's like, oh, get your boss on the phone because I'm the best Karen out there is what he says.
Yeah.
Basically. And then he realizes that they don't... What's her name who runs the TVA now?
B16.
Yeah. She doesn't know about it.
B16, B15, something like that.
B52s?
I don't know.
Love Shack,
baby love Shack.
B52s. Anyways, so yeah, Deadpool escapes after getting his brand new suit. We have the craziest suit montage with at least 6 butt slaps and 6 junk grabs.
That was insane.
That just felt like a YouTube video for a second, where it's just cutting so quickly back and forth. But then we go back to him escaping into the wilderness where he has killed all these TVA agents with Wolverine's corpse.
Right.
And
then he needs to go find himself a Wolverine that's not dead.
Yeah, someone he can fill that gap with.
So he's planning on replacing the Wolverine that died with any Wolverine.
Yeah, any one that fits.
And his timeline will be saved.
That's what he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Does it work? We'll find out. But then we get this pretty fun montage of him trying to find a new Wolverine. Mm-hmm. The first one, didn't see it coming at all.
Right.
Where it's just Wolverine in a bar and he jumps down and he's comic accurate height Wolverine and he's tiny.
Yeah. And what's funny is like no one understands why they wanted a 5'3" comic book character, but I guess it was to make him look stockier and make him look more, I guess, like a Wolverine.
Yeah, somewhat
the
small.
animal.
Yeah,
but it just doesn't make sense. And with Hugh Jackman being 6'2" and has been Wolverine for 20 years now.
Yeah, no one cared.
No one really cared about that, but a lot of people, some people did mention,
he's too tall, blah blah blah.
And you're like, well, look how fucking weird it looks.
Dude, he looked like what's his name from the end of Eternals?
Yeah,
the little gnome dude. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
it's like Pip or something.
Yeah.
It's like that. It looks like a little he's gonna be working a shift at Gringotts Bank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It just looks so off and wrong. You know?
But then we go through a bunch of other Wolverines. Some look pretty normal, but there's a couple in there that even I don't think I got the importance of the visuals. You know, there's the one with the it's in the alleyway with all the graffiti and everything. He's got the wispy hair. I don't get the reference.
That is the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine.
Like comic book accurate one?
Yeah,
okay.
So that Wolverine is in the future. I can't remember the exact date. But it's far, far future. And Apocalypse wins.
Yeah.
Wolverine loses his hand. And he can still extend claws from this
the nub,
adamantium nub. Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
Which they didn't show in there. I was hoping they would, but they didn't.
Yeah, maybe he hasn't lost it yet.
But yeah, that's far, far, far future.
Yeah, and then there was I got the one where he fights Hulk.
Yeah,
so that's our big cameo right at the top. Right, one big cameo. The Hulk.
The Hulk.
Right there. I mean, other than Wolverine, right?
Right.
We got the Hulk. Pretty quick. After, again, in the TVA, there's the traditional clips of all the Avengers fighting. I don't think we can count those as cameos. That's just footage from the movies.
Footage from other movies, yeah.
We did miss one cameo, though, at the TVA.
Which one?
The Thor cameo.
Oh, yeah.
Which means a lot to Deadpool.
Yeah.
Because it's apparently a clip from the future where Thor is holding Deadpool. Yeah. And it becomes a running gag for the entire movie.
And they cut it off so fast, and I wonder if it was I wonder if it's a gag, you know, just a joke, or if it's an actual, crucial piece of information. I think it's definitely snippet.
It was definitely face replacement. You can tell, the second time looking at it, I really looked again, and it's definitely face replacement on Thor. Because even Chris Hemsworth was I didn't know I was in this movie.
Yeah.
But will it pay off? We don't know. But is it hilarious? Yeah.
Yes.
Because Thor's crying, holding Deadpool, whose mask is ripped in half, and it's kind of looking like when Spider-Man's mask rips, or anyone who wears a mask and it's ripped in half, and you're they're dying.
Or the helmet is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to it. We get the Hulk for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
But we see the Hulk's face, which looks like Mark Ruffalo Hulk. In the claws of
reflection.
Wolverine.
Yeah. Which was really sick. And then you just kind of, the camera pulls back a little bit and you see Hulk standing behind Deadpool and he's like, I'm out. Right? He gets smacked into a tree and then leaves.
Yeah.
And then there's another cameo and we get eye-patched Wolverine. Then we get another one and it's all the skulls. And it's Wolverine nailed to an X.
Like Jesus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is from a comic book. I'm not familiar with that comic book, though.
That's on the cover of that, right? I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Don't think I've read it.
No.
This would have been a great episode for us to get our friend Eric in here.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me call him up. I'm just kidding.
Call him.
And then we get probably the most fun little nod to what this movie's really about, and that's like legacy characters getting their endings, or the fans getting what they've been asking for. Because Deadpool's walking up on a Wolverine, working on his motorcycle, who's facing the opposite way. And I just love that Deadpool's walking up and he's like trying to tell him like, hey, I need you. And he's like, hey, you kind of look like, and then Wolverine turns and it's Henry Cavill.
Fucking Cavill.
And he goes, the Cavalry. Which is a fan casting, right?
Yeah.
The fans wanted, after Hugh Jackman decided to retire from from being the Wolverine.
They wanted Henry Cavill.
Or Daniel Radcliffe.
Or
Taron
Egerton?
From Kingsman?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got one of the three. And it was huge. It was awesome. Like, he was huge. He was jacked.
He is jacked.
Like, dang, dude.
And like 6'4".
Yeah, so even bigger. And so there we go. Yeah. That was a great little nod to what the fans wanted to see.
Yeah.
Because when Logan happened, we didn't think Hugh Jackman was going to come back for Wolverine ever.
He was so adamant that
he's done.
That he was done.
He's so adamant that it was adamantium.
Nice.
No, it wasn't. It was bad, dude. Cut it.
So let's speed this up a little bit, right? Yeah. So he goes and finds the Wolverine that he's
gonna take.
He
kidnaps him.
Who's super drunk and just horrible.
Yeah, like, because he let his friends, all of the X-Men, die.
Yeah. So he's going through his own little crisis thing. He takes him.
It's not a little crisis. TVA. It's a big crisis.
It's a pretty big. It's a pretty big crisis. Takes him back to the TVA. Makes a joke about on your left.
Yeah, which so good.
Yeah, I was like, what? Oh my god. So that whole thing happens. They're saying you found the worst Wolverine. We don't know why he's the worst Wolverine at this point. And long story short, they both get pruned.
They get pruned and sent to the Void.
The Void.
Where? What happens? What happens? So many things happen in the Void. So many things happen. Most of this movie takes place in the Void. Wow, I'm drawing a blank to what happens next because they get sent to the Void.
They start fighting.
Yeah, they do their big fight.
Yeah.
So many jokes about how everyone's been waiting for this moment. Get your special sock ready, nerds.
Yeah.
So good.
It's gonna get good.
It was a great fight. It's fun to watch. It's you see Wolverine run on all fours,
which is crazy.
So
like
freaking crazy.
I love the fact that they made Wolverine more animalistic, like he should be.
Yeah.
One thing you don't really think about is Deadpool still feels pain. You know what I mean?
So does Wolverine.
Yeah, but like, with how much they're stabbing each other and freaking killing each other. You know, like when Deadpool's getting ready to fight him, he's like, oh god, this is gonna hurt. And it's like you kind of forget. You see them stab each other and hurt each other so many times.
There's so much blood.
You don't really think about, like,
they feel all of it.
They feel pain still.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, they heal. They can't die, but they still feel pain. And
so they kind of get to a standstill. Neither one of them's going to win because they're both healing too quick.
And I feel like this is a bonding type of thing for Deadpool and Wolverine.
It's like when like animals fight each other, like to just get out aggression or like, you know.
Wolverine's found somebody
who can stand up to him.
He can
spar with,
demolish. Like he can go all out and not worry about the harm being done. You know what I mean? So then the next part here, they get interrupted by a character, another huge cameo.
Yeah. So at first we just see blue, red, and white.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, oh,
Captain America.
Because even Deadpool goes, Captain America.
Yeah. So right away you hear Chris Evans' voice.
Yeah.
It's very recognizable.
But the first time we watched it, didn't recognize it.
No?
No.
I did.
Not the first line.
Yeah, I recognized it.
I don't know why. It's just, I think my brain said, that's not him.
Yeah.
You know?
So I recognized it right away. But something just told me, like, there was no questioning on whether it was Captain America or not.
Right. They set it up to be,
yeah.
You know, they had the suit and the little additions to the arms, and you're like, that's Cap. That's Cap. And then he's got this hood on, and it's all covered up when the Mad Max dudes come running up.
Covering the chest.
And then all these cars pull up. Very, like we said, Mad Max style. Even Deadpool goes, it's kind of like Mad Max, but that's IP infringement.
Yeah.
Even though he calls someone Furiosa later. So we got all that stuff going on, and Deadpool gets all excited. He's like, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say Avengers Assemble, but he says Flame On.
Yeah.
And it's the fucking Human Torch.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sick.
It was great.
I hate his character. Like,
yeah,
he's really annoying. But
he was like that.
Yeah.
Already.
He was
in the
really
original.
cocky because that's the Human Torch.
Right.
There's a reason he got those powers, and it's because that's who he is.
Yeah.
Because all the Fantastic Four got powers based on their personalities.
This is when we start getting all the cameos of all the past characters.
Yeah, because all the people who pulled up are a bunch of old mutants. You got Toad, played by
Ray Park.
Ray Park, who also was Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
You got Pyro, OG Pyro from the first couple X-Men movies.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of other ones.
Sabretooth,
yeah. And then a bunch of other ones.
Yeah, those are the only main three, right?
Further right
in this area.
Yeah. But they get captured, they go back, and they're taken to big old Ant-Man's dead body.
Yeah, Paul Rudd finally aged.
Yeah, so good. You see that in the trailers. And then they are introduced to, what's her name?
Cassandra Nova.
Who is the twin of
Charles Xavier.
Chuck, as they call it.
Chuck.
But she ain't happy. She's not a good person. She evil. She's kind of just like, I just saw her so much the entire movie as Wanda Maximoff in Multiverse of Madness. Like that whole same vibe with the hands and stuff, and like, I don't know, I just got that whole vibe.
Yeah.
But also Magneto-esque powers, but also, I don't know. It was, I told you when we were watching the movie tonight, that she's my least favorite part of this movie, and it's because she's just evil.
Yeah.
But
she was in the void since before she could walk.
Yeah.
Right.
They took her from the womb.
Yeah.
So even Charles Xavier doesn't know about her.
So the thing is with Cassandra Nova, I didn't think she was a horrible character. I didn't dislike her either. I think she did her part, and her part ended when she sent Deadpool Wolverine back.
Yeah, she shouldn't have come back.
There was no reason for her to come back.
Yeah. Then we get this whole fight sequence, and Deadpool and Wolverine escape from her clutches. After she kills Johnny. Yeah. Rips his skin off, leaving all his bones.
Horrible.
And
I was not expecting that.
No, it was great. It was a good time. And then Deadpool and Wolverine are going off on this adventure where they meet Nice Pool.
Yeah.
And Dog Pool.
Sorry
about that. Nice Pool, played by Ryan Reynolds. Who has Fabio-esque hair and a normal face.
Yeah, normal skin.
Yeah.
And later we find out he doesn't have a regeneration factor. He doesn't have the healing factor. But like when you find that out, it like makes sense. Like, oh yeah, he doesn't have cancer. He doesn't have the scars. He's not constantly healing with dead cells. He is just a mercenary.
He's
he was the mercenary he was before he became Deadpool and just put on
some armor.
He just became Deadpool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he probably met another Deadpool variant and was like, That's who I am.
Yeah.
And yeah,
anyways.
anyways.
And it's like, yeah, he can't heal.
We're gonna gloss over a couple things in the middle here,
Mm-hmm.
because we got to get to the big stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which was the second Deadpool Wolverine fight in the minivan, which is such a fun fight sequence that it's hard to talk about. You just have to see it.
Yeah.
They fight inside a Honda Odyssey
from day into night into the next morning.
But then they're both passed out in the Honda Odyssey, and someone takes the car with them in it and takes them to a hideout because they're trying to find a way out of the void, and they need help from the others in the Borderlands, which is what Johnny Storm said.
And this is where the
biggest thing,
the next batch of
legacy cameos,
which is honestly like a redemption. Redemption characters, right? So like I think they made a good choice on who to redeem in this movie.
Yeah, because the first one we get walking in the door after some exposition and things like that.
Electra Nachos.
Yeah, nachos.
Electra Nachos.
Played by Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
Jennifer Garner.
Which
great.
She did great in this movie.
Yeah.
Horrible in 2003 and 2004.
But I think a lot of that has to do with the writer-directors.
Sure.
Yeah, at the time especially. Also, she makes a jab about how she's grateful that Daredevil's not around, which I think is just
funny.
It's funny to us, funnier than it is to the people in the world, in the universe, you know, like, because we all know why she doesn't want Ben Affleck around.
Right.
But
I mean, she just had three of his kids, and then he left her for his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But it's the one of the funniest lines in this movie, I think, just because of what we know on the outside world.
Yeah.
But then the one that I called walks in next.
I think we both called it, but I was just blown away that it actually happened.
No, me too. Blade walks in, played by Wesley Snipes.
Wesley fucking Snipes.
He still looks great. He's still got the Blade energy.
He's got the little white goatee.
Yeah. There's lines about how him and Ryan Reynolds didn't get along.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like,
so in Blade Trinity, they hated working together.
Yeah.
Both of them.
And
Deadpool straight up says, "Oh no, Blade straight up says I don't like you," and Deadpool says,
"You never did."
Never did.
It's so good. And then we get another huge reveal of a fan casting.
No, not a fan casting.
No, it was a casting that happened, but the movie never happened. And it's funny because I feel like this character is so beloved in the universes, but also the actor playing the character loves this character as much as Ryan Reynolds loves Deadpool. So in walks Gambit. His card comes first, which I think is Gambit's cheesy as fuck in this.
Yeah.
In the best possible way.
Yeah.
So he like flicks a card ahead of him, and I'm like, that's Gambit. And then who is it?
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum loves Gambit as much as Ryan Reynolds loves Deadpool.
I was honestly really rooting for that movie when they announced it with Channing Tatum. And I was like, that could be interesting. But it never happened. Like, it got stuck in
development
hell, yeah.
Yeah.
And poor Channing Tatum never got to
be Gambit. And
in this movie, out comes Gambit,
played by Channing Tatum,
in a classic Gambit fucking
he looks
suit.
Like the cowl, like the neck thing. I hate it so much.
It makes his head look kind of big.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have thinned it out.
Maybe. But also, it was really sick.
Yeah.
Like, to see Gambit.
Right.
You know? And the amount of jokes that he makes about how, all the people we saved, and he's like, could have saved. Like, all the worlds and things, and he's like, the things I could have done.
So, like, the amount of self-awareness for these characters... It wasn't overwhelming. You know what I mean?
No,
like sometimes it could get overwhelming in a movie, but it's just like just enough to like tease the fans
Mm-hmm.
to understand, like, oh, like when they go to the fight scene where they go fight all together,
Which is next. The
which
next
is
part.
next.
After we get Logan's backstory, this
Right.
version of Logan's backstory, because the last cameo right here
Mm-hmm.
is X-23,
Yeah.
Laura from Logan,
Mm-hmm.
grown up a little bit.
Now I'm curious to know if she's the one from Logan or if it's a different one.
Well, we don't know.
We never know.
But if you think about, like, at the beginning, where the timeline's getting pruned like this, or it's disintegrating,
She could have been.
She could have been up here because
Mm-hmm.
she's older than in Logan.
Mm-hmm.
So she's up here, gets sent. Anyways,
It makes sense.
we hear about Logan's all backstory, everything like that, about how he got drunk the day all the X-Men got killed in his timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So he blamed himself for that because he wasn't there.
Yeah.
But there must have been a lot of humans to take on all the X-Men and all the kids at the school. We don't know what happened, though.
Could have been Sentinels. Could have been Bastion.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Before
but-
Bastion joins the X-Men.
Either way, so what I was saying was
Yeah.
they all team up.
Mm-hmm.
They all go to the giant Ant-Man for a big fight.
The best fight. The best part in this, like, some of my favorite lines are in this car ride to Ant-Man
Mm-hmm.
when they're pulling up, because Gambit says some stuff about, oh, those hands, and he's got the whole accent, and Deadpool's like, I can't understand what you're saying. I'm gonna just guess what you're trying to say.
This is what he said.
And then Blade, he just goes, pan up to Blade, and he's talking to the camera, like,
Yeah.
pan up to Blade, and then Blade's got a rocket launcher,
Mm-hmm.
and Deadpool's like, where'd you get that? And Elektra goes, it's the Punisher's before he died.
Yeah.
Deadpool goes, which one? There's been like 5.
Yeah.
And then Blade says, well, I'm the only Blade, and I will always be the only
one, or
Blade.
something like that. Yeah.
And then Deadpool looks straight at the camera.
He's like, oh,
Mm.
oh,
So fix your Blade movie.
yeah.
Get it together.
Get it
I want to see.
together.
I want to see a new Blade movie, because Blade Trinity sucked.
But if you're gonna keep delaying the Marshall Ali Blade,
Mm-hmm.
give us another Wesley Snipes one.
Yeah, he's ready.
He was great.
He did it.
He did great.
But yeah, so they're all fighting because
So what I was trying to say
Sorry.
earlier, and I was jumping too far ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to bring it back.
Yeah,
I had to bring it back.
it's okay. But like one of the best things is like Gambit says, "Oh, I'm gonna make a name for myself here,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like,
Yeah, you are.
it's like perfect.
Yeah.
And then Elektra's like, "Oh, this is our ending,
Mhm.
right?" And it's like they're so self-aware right now, but it's not overwhelming.
Mhm.
It's not pissing me off
Right.
of how. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're saying it in the sense of, like, they got pruned, they got taken from their timeline, so they didn't get to finish what they were doing.
But it works both ways.
Now they get to finish what they're doing in this universe, or in
Mhm.
the Void. That's their ending. But to us as viewers, we're like, their movies either never got finished, never got made,
Or flopped.
ended on a bad note.
Mm-hmm.
Here's their ending.
Yeah.
So they're all fighting because they're trying to escape the Void.
Mm-hmm.
Cassandra's got the only way out,
Mm-hmm.
but they need the Juggernaut's helmet to put on.
Cassandra Nova.
The Juggernaut is also a sibling of,
Stepbrother.
yeah, a sibling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Step sibling of them two. I don't know. He got a helmet so no one can mess with his brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he wears the helmet.
They take the helmet.
They take the helmet, put it on her head.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, cool fight scene. We get to see all the people fight, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Gambit's looking sick,
Yeah.
doing flips and like throwing cards and everything. But we all know Gambit can charge everything. Like,
Mhm.
it's not just cards. So it would have been cool to see what else he could have charged. He did have the staff though.
Yeah.
Badass.
Beautiful.
X-23's running around doing her thing. She's got the glasses on like in Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Basically everyone dies. So Logan and Deadpool are up there talking to Cassandra, and then fucking Pyro comes in because he's actually backstabbing her
Yeah.
while she's got the helmet on.
Shoots her.
Shoots her. Wolverine straight up looks at her and says, I'm paraphrasing. I wear this yellow and blue suit, which I've never worn in the last 20 years, because Charles Xavier loved me, and he would love you too. Because she's mad that Charles Xavier never came for her.
Yeah.
Her brother never came for her because she knows about her brother, but apparently her brother doesn't know about her. But also he dead in some of these timelines.
Right.
And that strikes a nerve with her. And then when Pyro shoots her, they pull the helmet off.
She heals.
She heals. They get sent back to Deadpool's universe in 10005. Right?
Yeah, 10005.
Yeah. Where the Time Ripper is, which is the Time Ripper is there to quickly prune an entire timeline from, it's built by the TVA.
Yeah.
It's going to destroy the timeline quicker than the timeline's going to destroy itself because they don't have the anchor person. The anchor person is something brand new, which we haven't had before. This was a brand new thing added in Deadpool 3. Deadpool and the Wolverine.
Right.
We never heard about the anchor person before.
So they keep bringing in different things. You got, absolute points.
Yeah.
And then you have, like,
what was that?
Like the fact that Tony Stark dies.
Omega level. Right? Is that what it is?
Omega level mutant?
Oh, no, I know that's different. What was it, like the points and the events?
Yeah. And now
what's the event?
Incursion?
No, that's when the timelines can.
Oh, yeah.
What's the one in Spider-Man? In Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Canon events. There we go.
Canon events, absolute points in
Same
time.
thing.
And now we have
anchor persons.
Anchor people.
It's getting a little convoluted. So yeah, anyways, they go back to the timeline and then the Deadpool Corps comes in. There's 100 other Deadpools. Bunch of different variants of Deadpool. You got like Western Deadpool, you got Lady Pool, you got Head Pool, you got Kid Pool, you got Baby Pool, then a bunch of random Deadpools. And I said to you in the theater today, I was like, this is just like every time we got in Comic-Con.
It's Comic-Con.
It's just Comic-Con because 75 dudes will be dressed up as Deadpool and then they'll all just stand together.
Fun fact, Kid Pool and Baby Pool were voiced by both of Ryan Reynolds' children.
They got potty mouths on them then. And then Lady Pool, Blake Lively. Which was really sick. This whole fight scene honestly is dope as hell, and it's really fun. Didn't need it, but they revealed Wolverine's mask. They did. He pulls out the mask, looking
gave me chills
sick.
Every single time. Giving me chills every single
That's how I felt
time.
when Blade walks out. I got chills the second time more than the first time, and I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got this huge fight scene, and it's styled like a one take, but it's really not. Like it's a roving camera down the street, where I don't know. It was a really sick fight, but again, it just feels kind of weird.
Out of place
because they just show up in the portal that's still open
and got bigger.
Am I complaining about seeing all these Deadpools? Not really. I'm just thinking like if it didn't happen, wouldn't have made a difference.
And then Peter
shows up.
Deus
What?
Deus Ex Machina.
Basically, because all the Deadpools get back up except for one. Nice Pool.
Right.
Nice Pool doesn't have a regeneration.
He's done for.
He's dead. He got his face blown off.
Yeah.
Because Deadpool Prime
used him as a shield.
And I think it was funny the second time watching it, just watching him just hold him back up while he's already behind the car. But anyways, all the Deadpools start getting up again, and they're like, well, shit, we gotta find him again. And then Peter pulls up.
Yeah.
Distracts all the Deadpools. So Deadpool and Wolverine go to the Time Ripper where Cassandra's there, sucking the power out so she has the ability to destroy timelines. And this whole sequence right here reminded me of every single Marvel movie ever. Right? It's you need to kill yourself or get killed to save this world.
Yeah, sacrifice yourself.
Because that's what heroes do.
Yes.
And
stop poking me. Stop. I'm just kidding.
But I even said it to you today because like after the whole sequence anyways, they're standing there holding hands, holding the 2 points of matter and antimatter, and it's supposed to disintegrate them, just like the stones did, or were supposed to do if anyone touched them in Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Power Stone.
Yeah. But they instead just hold hands and glow, and the camera spins around them like in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Deadpool knows what it's doing. This is not... It's supposed to feel like that. There's a reason it feels the same. Because it is a superhero movie. And we know it.
And they did it on purpose.
They did it on purpose.
They did that specifically on purpose. They had the glowing veins.
Instead of
skin.
purple, it was red.
Yeah.
And then Hugh Jackman's costume just shreds to
rips
pieces.
Off. He's freaking
jacked.
Yoked.
He puts the jack in jacked, man.
He puts the sharp in fucking shredded sharp cheese, dude. I don't know why I said it that way, but I'm sticking with it.
He's the reason that we call people jacked.
Yeah.
So they die. They're disintegrated, right?
They're dead.
Right? And then the TVA comes in and they're talking to Mr. Paradox and they're like, what the heck? And he makes this whole lie up about how like he got there to stop what's her face, Cassandra, blah blah blah, and then Deadpool and Wolverine walk out of the back room like nothing happened.
And he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Now they say that together they were able to survived.
Yeah.
Together.
Because they're Deadpool and Wolverine.
Now what if, let's just say, what if Loki spared their lives, being like the
keeper
who remains,
yeah.
right?
He who remains. Yeah.
He could have spared them.
He could have.
He could have said, you have a bigger purpose.
But the TVA says, we'll see you around, basically.
See you around.
They're going to be back for Deadpool.
Strap up your bootstraps.
What? Okay. Let's finish this out real quick because we're already pushing time quite a bit. Everything's fine. Everything's safe. Deadpool's like, hey, can you bring some friends over?
Timeline is saved.
Wolverine Logan stays in this timeline. So does X-23. And Dogpool. And everything's back to normal because Wade and Vanessa are slowly flirting a little bit more and getting back at it. And then the movie kind of just ends.
Yeah. So
yeah.
What is the next step here?
So what I thought was going to happen when they were holding the things and holding hands and everything, I really thought they were going to get sucked out of that timeline. Like the whole city block right there was going to get sucked out of that timeline and then fall back into another timeline or something, because that kind of felt like the setup where they were like,
this timeline's dead anyway.
Yeah. Which would have forced Deadpool to be in this new timeline wherever he ended up, knowing what happened and maybe his timeline's fine, he just can't go back to it. But it would have been a really good, like, I feel like maybe not the best way, but a way to get him into the sacred timeline, where like to save his timeline, he had to leave his timeline and get sucked into another one. Because I feel like that's some shit Marvel would do.
Yeah.
Like, hey, all your friends and family and the people you love, they're stuck back there. You're stuck here. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it on the second viewing, he had the whole scene with Happy Hogan at the beginning, which means that thing at the end shouldn't have happened. It wasn't going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I thought was going to happen the first viewing, was that the two of them were going to get sucked into another timeline because of that. But no.
So what are our predictions to B16 or whatever the fuck her name is was like?
Well, she's in love with
ready,
Peter.
Rest up.
Wait, she's in love with Peter.
Yeah, for sure.
They're gonna get together.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
they're gonna have little Peter pools.
Yeah.
My prediction is that watching Loki was kind of jumping around to fix the TVA's problems, and like Loki made the TVA better.
Yeah.
But there's still people in the TVA who are struggling with the ways of the new TVA. So maybe they'll bring Deadpool in as like a replacement for Loki and Mobius, as people who kind of keep the peace in the TVA.
Yeah.
But also, I think the TVA is going to be the people who set up the Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they're going to have a huge part in this because we already know Kang's gone. Like, there's no more Kang in the MCU.
Yeah.
That was it was done now because we don't need to get into Jonathan Majors. But, like,
right.
The TVA's kind of got their hands in everybody's pot.
But also, do you think we could look forward to some sort of incursion of Earth 0 or 1005 and 616? And that's how we're going to get them together at this point?
I think there's so many possibilities because even in the movie, Deadpool says, we're done with the multiverse stuff. It's over. It's been done. It's flop after flop after flop.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's a flop, right? Like, none of them have been flops. I think Spider-Man did it the best way, I think. Like, No Way Home had a really great way of handling the multiverse and everything like that. Multiverse of Madness wasn't the best movie. Mm-hmm. It was great. I loved what it is, but, whatever.
That one left people wanting more multiverse, which... Yeah. It's called the Multiverse of Madness. You would think we would get all the multiverse until in that movie we had want it anymore.
We had 3 multiverses. You know what I mean? They went to 3 different places.
Yeah,
maybe 4. Anyways, I think all the multiverse stuff is cool. I'm okay with it, but I think it is time to move on to the next stage. Mm-hmm. So the timelines need to converge. The timelines need to become one. Who has the power to do that kind of stuff?
Loki.
Wanda. Doctor Doom. Right? If that's where we're leading to, that's where we're leading to. Mm-hmm. Like, Doctor Doom's going to force all the timelines together, which is going to cause the Secret Wars because everyone's going to be so confused to what's going on, where they are. They're not going to know who's friend, who's foe. So that's my prediction going forward.
Makes sense.
Fantastic Four comes out in, 2 years?
I don't even know.
I don't know.
I think it was 2025.
I don't know. We haven't heard anything.
Next year?
We got to look at the panel, see what else has happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as of right now, I don't know. It's up in the air. Unless they just bring in freaking Galactus and chew up some planets.
Right.
But that doesn't solve the multiverse.
Right.
But I really thought that Loki becoming He Who Remains, or in charge of the tree now instead of the branches, was going to fix a lot of these multiverse problems.
Which he hasn't yet.
But that's where I'm at. What about you?
No, I completely agree with everything you just said.
That's a first.
No, I'm serious.
That's a first.
I agree with everything you just said. Every single word.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for listening.
No, I'm serious. I had my predictions about the incursion. Mm-hmm. What you said makes a lot more sense, but we still don't have enough information to really have a solid, point A to point B,
But I think now with the announcement of Avengers Doomsday, that's going to be the point. Mm-hmm. Doomsday sounds like a good name for Doctor Doom creating an incursion event, which brings all the timelines together. But I think there needs to be some more multiverse bleed out right now, which needs to introduce more mutants into the MCU. Mm-hmm. We had the little hint with Kamala Khan.
We can't just see all the mutants just show up in Secret Wars.
Right.
That's not.
They need to start popping up. And I think more events like Wanda going crazy, Doctor Strange going crazy, Doctor Doom, whatever happens. There needs to be some kind of we have the branches, but there needs to be just a closing of a couple branches, which starts the domino effect of all the branches kind of just coming into that one.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's going to happen, but we have a lot of old Avengers coming back as new people.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of new Avengers or new MCU characters who kind of just aren't showing up lately.
Yeah.
You know, like, when was the last time we saw one of the new characters?
We haven't.
It was like the Marvels.
The Marvels. Like, come back?
Yeah.
Like, new character and then came back?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah, and now we have the new Captain America movie, which could tie some things together, but also, like, I doubt it.
Probably not.
It's going to be pretty standalone.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to set up something, like a little right here.
Yeah.
That's going to just completely come out to something else. So,
Right.
I don't know. We're going to have to see how it goes. The timeline's up in the air.
For sure.
Lots can happen.
Yeah.
But let's finish this up with final thoughts about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
You go first. Tell us your overall take on the movie, and then give it a rating.
Well, like I said, Deadpool was very iconic.
Mm-hmm.
I personally love this movie. It will be a new monthly watch, I guess, for me once it comes out. You know, at least every couple months. I gave it a 10, dude.
Yeah, 10 out of 10?
No, well, depends on how strict we're going to be, but
I feel like we are doing a pretty long episode of a movie review and breakdown-ish. So, I mean, like, in comparison to not only the other two Deadpools, but now it's an MCU movie, so...
Mm-hmm. I'll give it a 10.
Yeah?
Yeah. I give it a 10.
Cool.
Yeah.
This movie was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot more fun the first time watching it because of all the huge moments that are in this.
Mm-hmm.
The second time, knowing they're coming takes a little of the heat away.
Yeah.
But I think the writing's really great. The editing's really awesome. The music, like the music drops, like the needle drops in the movie, are great. I can't give it a 10 because I think there's a lot of things in this movie that just don't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
As a writing standpoint. There are parts of this movie that could have been cut or rearranged, so I'm gonna give it like an 8.5, which is a higher rating than I would give Deadpool 2, but not higher than I'd give Deadpool 1.
Okay.
So I think in order of the Deadpools, it's 1 Deadpool Wolverine, Deadpool 2.
Got it.
I think Deadpool 2 tried to cram too much in. This one crammed a lot in. But
they did it right.
I think they did it right. Like I said, there could have been a couple things that could have just been cut out or changed a little bit. Pacing wise, the movie's go, go, go. It does not stop except for one little tiny smidge right before the final fights.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what Deadpool said was going to happen. The cameos alone brought that up too.
Right.
And getting the redemption for all these characters.
Great.
Perfect.
Love it.
It's not my favorite MCU movie, but it is my favorite of the last like 10.
It would. I would say it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'd say go watch it if you haven't and you listened this far. Dumb. silly choice. Because now you should still go watch it though.
Yeah.
Because we can't describe the fight scenes in this any better.
You definitely have to see it for yourself.
Yeah. But we're excited for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't already, go ahead and leave a review on our podcast too, like on Apple or Spotify. Just like, review the podcast.
Leave a review.
Even if you hate it, just say it's 5 stars because why not? Yeah.
It's so fast.
It's not gonna hurt you.
Exactly.
And then over on like TikTok and Instagram, you can find us and follow us and stalk our profiles and pictures and stuff from the last year and a half at
BJ in the morning _
And then if you're like, man, I really wish I could watch 2 dudes sit in chairs while they talk about Deadpool and Wolverine, you can do that over on YouTube at
BJ in the Morning Podcast,
where you should be subscribing to the mother flipping channel.
Yep.
And liking and commenting on our videos.
Yep.
So YouTube says, hey, these guys are making good content with lots of interaction with their fans, so we should put it out towards more people.
Yeah.
Or you can skip all that and just share the video out to like 10 of your friends and then tell them to share the video out to 10 of their friends. Even if you don't want to watch it, just 10 people looking at it helps out.
It's been shared. Well,
can you tell that we're getting sleepy as heck?
I'm so tired.
I'm ready for bed.
I gotta go work. I gotta go to work.
Shoot.
Well, with that said, thank you for listening to BJ in the Morning. I'm Juan.
And I'm Brendan.
And we will talk to you next time.